Yes, colleagues, good afternoon. This is a quick video that will deliver a tutorial lesson how to code a variable, as well how to label a variable. It's very important as a researcher to always code variable the way you understand it and provide information uh, giving a definition of that variable. It's very important. And some of us that have idea how papers are structured, there is a special portion under your article or paper where some journals ask you to provide information about your indicators, which include how code your data, the description of it, the measurements, and even the source. So imagine you've brought in a data, looks like this. You see the wording here is very long, doesn't look presentable. You see, we are across domestic products, inflation. These are very long, and it's not advisable to use short indicators name or variable names to run your coding. It's very important to code that. That's the essence. So we start first how to code this variable cross domestic products. It is good you as a researcher to have to think around the way you code your variable, because you're the one that's running your estimation. You should understand your coding better. Give us information how that's been your variables have been coded and the explanation later. So it is good to have understanding. So let us see how we can start our coding. Say rename what this indicator real gross domestic products. We have to rename it as RGDP. Rename inflation as INF. You rename total revenue as rev. You rename government expenditure. This is too long. Let's just have it here. Government expenditure, which includes capital expenditure and recurrent expenditure as government expenditure, GESP. You may also want to rename public debts. Public debt as PD. You rename money supply as M3. Rename what? Foreign direct investment as FDI. You rename what? Total debt service Mark you type the variables the way you have them imported so that your command will work, otherwise it can't work. TDS, rename, you see, political stability. This is the way it is, the way political stability is typed from Excel. So you follow the same way, otherwise it can't work. For instance, let us say we want to change the character here, like P to capital P. So if you press enter, it gives you wrong results. So that's why when you are doing your estimation, make sure that the codes are entered the same way type them or you design them from your Excel. So here we rename political stability as PS. You rename what? Option as scope. You rename corruption underscore political stability as CS. Then you have you rename the dummy variable here, which is P underscore 2014 underscore D as dummy. Let's give it a dummy, right? So if you see now, we've done some kind of renaming here. You see how the variables or indicators are being transformed from the long spelling of each indicator to a very decidable one that you see start. Right. So having completed this, it's important also to give labeling of variable. As you see under this column, under variable column, label column here. Variables are not well defined, so it is important to find it down here. So we say that real GDP, we say label variable RGDP as real gross domestic product as a percentage increase in total real output. You can also indicate the source, maybe say this is World Bank. It was downloaded from World Bank dataset. You can also label variable inflation as percentage increase in average price. Say based on CPI, and this was downloaded from WDI, right? Syntax is wrong. What have we done wrong? Let's put right. Yes, it works. So what next? We'll label variable rev as total revenue total revenue. Oh, another mistake. As total revenue. Label variable government expenditure as government expenditure as a percentage of GDP. This was downloaded from AI. Label variable this variable was not well labeled, so let us label it next. Label variable rev as total revenue as a percentage of GDP, and was brought from IMF. Label another variable. Which one? Public debt. Public debt comprises of both domestic and foreign debts. Label public debts as public debts as what? Public debts as a percentage of what? A percentage of GDP, and this was brought from IMF. Label another variable money supply, M3 as money supply as a percentage of GDP, WDI. Label for the variable FDI. Label variable for indirect investment as a percent of GDP from WDI. Label variable TDS, total debt service, as a percentage of GDP, and this was brought from WDI as well. We label words variable political stability is measured in index, and this was brought from BI. One command, we need to put the closing quotation. Another wrong command. What have we done wrong? Label variable Yes, we've not indicated the variable that we are labeling. Think it's okay now. Label what? Variable. Which variable are you to label? Option 4. Make sure that we type this. 1. Label it as corruption. In index. Downloaded from the PDI. Label what? This one variable is a product of corruption and political stability. The researcher wants to know the impact of corruption in total, the economic growth. So we say label variable label variable CPS as corruption, political stability in index. Then we label what? We label variable DOM as dummy. DOM as dummy. So now you can see that label all the variables. Let us expand this window. If you click now, let's see GDP, and you can see that this variable name GDP has been well labeled as here was the basic. Yes, under the property. See that inflation also as well is labeled as percentage increase in average price based on CPI. As well, revenue, which is coded as rev, is labeled as total revenue as a percentage of GDP. Instance, public debt as well, it's labeled as public debt as a percentage of GDP. So you see that we've coded and also labeled the variables. If you come on the browser, see that coded the variables here. This just a short video how to code and label a variable. Maybe as a researcher, you may be interested to put this in what we call a do file to replicate or to share friends. It's also relevant that you understand how to save this. For saving, you make sure that you remove this, you clean up this mistake. It's very important. Now we have clean commands. We have clean commands here. We have clean commands. So you may be interested to save this in do file, highlight all of this, all of your commands that you use in your estimation, you copy, you come to do file, you have a new do file, paste, but as it is, these are just ordinary commands. Users may want to know what's actually you've done. So you may want to type text to describe what actually you've done in your estimation proceedings. So we say estimating So it's a coding and labeling of variable is data 15, right? Then you say here directory of the file or file directory. Here you say renaming or coding of variable of various. Okay, let us just leave it like that. Coding of variables. Now we have different variables being coded. We are gross domestic product as RGDP. We name inflation as INF. So that's what it is. Coded them in a very summarized way that is good for you to apply in your estimation model. So what have we done here? Here we label variable. That's what we've done. So if someone sees this do file, he can easily read and understand what are the steps and what the researcher has done. So if the person wants to replicate the same, he can follow the same process and replicate your work. Also guide them to understand. Like some journals usually they ask for data, a data set, and as well ask for a do file. So the reviewers may want to see your do file post journal. One of the journals that I publish with people requested for a do file, requested for the data. So it's very important to develop your work in this way. So this is just a short video. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly like and share and invite colleagues to contribute to this platform. Thank you very much. Bye bye. We meet next time in my proposed video how to transform variables, login, so that's different. Thank you.